is false.
It wasn't
fucking fucker.
No.
Fucking get them all shaked, and then you just fucking.
Welcome back to
Oh,
a new episode of Monotony, but mostly madness. With me to my left, we have Shadow Man Seth, and down below us we have Jared, no camera, the beast. So, welcome, boys.
Howdy.
Whoa.
Oh man.
See, like we were gonna get Jared on the video here, but we turned the camera on and everything just shattered. So unfortunately, we're not gonna see Jared, but it's probably
just
good
like my
for you
hopes and
guys.
dreams.
Yeah, mine too, buddy. Mine too. So how's everything been for you guys? Pretty good? Pretty good?
New shutdowns just came in, which kind of blows.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's the shits, but I mean, luckily for us, we're essential, so
Yeah, essential. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, like, if I could get laid off for like 2 weeks, but only 2 weeks, and just go on EI for 2 weeks, it's basically just a paid vacation.
well, that's kind of what I said. Like before
Hey,
the
buddy, how do
whole
you think I feel right now.
before the last round of shutdowns came, like 2 weeks ago, like the last round of shutdowns, I was like,
Yeah.
man, they should just fucking shut everything down. Like if you're not like bare essential services, like you're fucking done. And because I was really just hoping to get a paid vacation because I did not want to have to go to work every day. So I guess while we're waiting for Jared to somehow manage to get back into the Zoom call here, we'll start off with the first question here, Seth. Have you had any sort of mask mishaps?
Mask mishaps.
Yeah.
I sneezed at my mask one time, and there's fucking boogers all over it. That was great.
Did you save those for like a little protein boost later in the day, or?
Oh yeah, no, I left them in there. I didn't tell anyone that they were in there. I just slowly licked them off.
Wait, why would you tell anybody? They're like, all right, here, you can just take my mask. I swear I didn't sneeze in it, bro.
Yeah, no. Well, you share masks, don't you?
That's what you're supposed to do, isn't it? Like,
Pretty sure that was in the guidelines.
I mean, like, to be fair, I know like some of the hospitals are sharing like the plastic plexiglass snot screens.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I mean, if we're just sharing masks, it can't be that bad. The hospital's doing it, so I mean, everything should be okay here. And the only sort of mishap I've had in regarding masks is, so I bought like this really nice canvas mask online. Had like a strap that went around your neck and then like around the ears, and it was all connected, like intertwined.
Okay.
And it's not a secret. I have a very long face. Like it is fucking. I have a big head.
Yeah, it's a horse face.
Yeah, exactly. Basically just a horse. And I was walking through the mall. I had gone to Canmore with some of my friends, and we're coming back. We stopped at the mall to get lunch or something. And I was walking, and I fucking yawned. And as I yawned, I like stretched the mask out enough that I just snapped the cable. But because they were all intertwined, the whole mask just fucking poof, just blew apart. And I had to go buy a new one because obviously a mask with no strings is it doesn't work so well. And the plus side, I went to Under Armour and they actually measured my big ass head, so they gave me a nice extra large mask. So it fits.
Custom mask because your head is so big.
Yeah, man.
Man.
They fit this mask to me. I felt like I was going to get like, supplied air. Like they was just so precise. They had a paper tape measure and shit. Real nice.
Oh my god.
And I haven't broke this one yet, and it's great.
Jared's gone again.
Oh,
there he is.
he's back. Okay,
Hang
yeah.
on.
So we got that first question out of the way. That's a good one, Jared.
There you go.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
That's solid.
So
There
the
we
next
go.
question, which
Now
we're
I'm
kind of,
set.
I don't like how much you're jumping around.
the next question, which we're kind of gonna follow on the same pathway as masks, is like COVID has definitely fucked up the world in a lot of ways for a lot of people. What plans did COVID fuck up for you guys?
A lot.
Okay.
Oh, so many.
So what are we
Yeah,
talking like? Give us like the biggest plan that COVID fucked for you.
Well, I was supposed to go down to Oregon dirt biking for like 2 weeks, right as the border shut down, so that blew.
Yeah.
And then I was supposed to go see Megadeth in November, and that got shut down.
Yeah.
And now I probably won't be able to go home for Christmas, so that also blows.
Yeah, that's the shits. Yeah. How about you, Jared?
The biggest thing for me was back in March when I first started my trade. It was the first job I went on up at Suncor.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to be this huge 3-month job that would have gotten me most of my hours for the year. I got 6 days out of that job.
Yeah.
And I had to eat my meals in my room like a goddamn dog.
In your cage.
Did you cry like to add extra salt into
no.
your meals?
Oh god, it was so undersalted. It needed tears.
It just
It needed tears.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing is you look back and like I seen one of my memories came up on Facebook and it was for a country festival down in Montana that I was going to go to, and obviously COVID fucked that up. And but when it came back on my memories, it had the lineup of who's playing. And it was like fucking Brothers Osborne, Tyler Childers, like just this massive list of like fucking great artists that are probably not going to be back the next time the festival runs. So it fucks that up. I mean, I think like speaking like to me and Seth is we really got out of school at just the fucking perfect time because we finished and like a week later everything fucking shut.
You guys truly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember like we went to school in January. We went to school in January, and like that's when the first cases were popping up in China.
Yeah,
and I remember Dan being like, "This is gonna blow up," and all of us being like, "Oh, fucking Rona!" It's like the beer.
Yeah, yeah. I still remember, like, I got fucking sick as shit in class, and like I sort of still half-assed to this day. Am kind of convinced I might have had the Rona, because like looking back at all the symptoms I had when I got sick is like, man, this kind of matches up exactly to all the symptoms of COVID.
Yeah, same. And like on my birthday, so like the end of December, I got like the sickest I'd ever been. It lined up with like all the Rona symptoms.
Yeah.
And I got it from some cousins who came from Australia for Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, like the thing is
uh-oh.
We never, I mean, that wasn't a big thing at the time, so none of us would have thought anything other than it was just a common cold or a flu, right?
It's just like, I have a shitty cold, this sucks, and then it went away after like 2 weeks.
Well, that's what it seemed like.
Well, yeah, that's exactly like I remember, like, fuck, I was drinking Neocitrin like 6 times a day and like fucking drinking cough syrup like it was going out of style, and I still felt like fucking death.
Yeah.
And looking back, it's like, man, like all those symptoms I had.
You have some Sprite with that?
No, man. I was just like getting off the bus and I was just like cracking open like NyQuil and just chugging the whole bottle back. I fit right in on Jasper. Like, anyways.
Oh god, Jasper Ave, that's pussy shit.
That's pussy shit. Okay. Speaking of Jasper Ave, we're just gonna segue into the next one here. What's something that you guys did when you lived in your hometown that you thought was like normal or like not weird, but when you moved out of your town to like a larger urban center, you found out was actually just not normal in
cocaine.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Listen, you live in a small town, there's nothing to do except drink and do drugs because you can't spend your money on anything else.
I mean, yeah, you're right. Like it's a kind of fact of life. That's all there is to do. Either drink, drive, or drugs, like,
or all at the same time.
Exactly. And then it's just a fucking party.
No, that's a joke. Never did cocaine. No, like the actual, I don't know, probably the biggest thing is like people don't just drive around and look for fucking fun fight.
Look for what?
My attorney isn't here. I cannot say I did that. No, probably like driving around and looking for bum fights. Like we used to do that like every Friday night. We used to do that every Friday night, and we'd be like, let's find a bum fight and fucking bet on it. And we'd find one. And it's usually beside the subway on Main Street. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely one of those small town things, because I mean, I don't remember looking specifically like going out to find bum fights, but I do remember like you'd come across a fight like in the street and you just would stop and you would watch it.
Yeah, the cops would show up and they'd turn on their lights just to like keep the crowd back. They wouldn't actually stop the fight.
Yeah, they weren't breaking it up. They were just doing crowd control.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like all
yeah,
6 people watching.
yeah. I mean, the cops probably had some skin in the fucking game too. So
Yeah, they gave them the compensation.
If you think those fights weren't rigged, you're cool.
You fucking drop after 5, or else you're fucking going away for 5 to 10.
Listen, buddy, I got you in possession for 7 different narcotics. You are fucked.
Do you understand how fucked you are right now?
Like I said, drop after 5 or you're fucking toast. No, that's one thing. Would yours be the same, Jared, or do you have another one?
Well, I mean, Jared grew up kind of in.
I grew up off.
Around,
Yeah.
like kind of in around.
Yeah.
Like a city. Like
Yeah.
I don't think he has any like crazy fucking small town stories.
Man, I'm just gonna
God,
try
no.
to just give me
I
one
grew up
second.
off 97th Street.
I was just gonna say you did grow up off 97th, which in itself is shitty.
Oh, yeah, it's not great.
How about give us a Canadian Tire story?
A Canadian Tire story.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh God, which to tell?
Is there a lot?
Because yeah, Cody, that was my big thing. I throughout all of high school worked at Canadian Tire off 97th Street.
Oh, okay.
Mainly in the parts department.
Okay, so you're one of us.
So I was
cool.
the brake pad bitch.
One of us.
One of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
for the most part, I was a very underpaid and not at all licensed parts tech.
Same. Okay, so Canadian Tire story. Okay, I'm ready for this. It better be good.
Okay, let me think of a good one. God. It's just, the thing with Canadian Tire is over the years, it piles up. It's just small things of shit and shit on top of each other. And eventually you get a mountain.
Okay.
But the primary one was the thievery.
Okay.
Now, the thieves at Canadian Tire are crafty. Thievery, the stealing.
Yeah.
It's like it's the fucking Dark Brotherhood up on 97th Street.
Okay.
Like,
Is that
oh, Seth's gone. He's disappeared.
I think he just
But
went
anyway,
to. I think he went to grab a
thievery
drink.
was a huge problem. The thievery was a big problem on that 97th Street during the time I was there. Apparently, as of late, it's calmed down.
Okay.
But okay, the best story I have of that. It was Christmas time 2 years ago. I was working the parts counter, which in that store is just beside the front cashiers. And we had a huge line of people, and one guy comes through. He's got a set of pots and pans, like these super expensive, they're $500 retail pot and pan set. This big box, he's hauling it on his shoulder. And he cuts through this entire line, and he just starts walking towards the exit. And he's kind of got a panic look on his face.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, we have these little Filipino cashiers who are looking at him and going, sir, you need to stop. You have to come back, pay for that. And he did not listen. That man just kept running. And by the time he got out that door, we realized, oh, he ain't coming back for that. He ain't paying for that. And so they call, I forget whatever the emergency code was over the radio. I'm standing there, watched all this happen. I run out my parts store with the other parts guy who was with me at the time. And this dude's sprinting at this point. He's in the parking lot going full tilt towards it. It was a Dodge Neon that he was driving. This shitty flapped out Dodge Neon. And me and this guy run up towards the car, say, hey man, fucking drop it. Just drop it. It's not worth it. But by the time we got to him, because we had kind of a late start behind him, we get to the car. He had thrown it in his passenger seat, got in and locked the doors. We tried to pull on his handles to get in. And so before he could even get the ignition going, the guy I'm with turns to me and goes, take his mirrors off. I went, what? And he goes, kick his fucking mirrors off. And so I boot stomped his passenger mirror off, and the guy I was with boot stomped the driver mirror off for his side mirrors. And then sure enough, fucking the shit box finally starts. And I figure, minimum wage isn't worth getting run over for by a shitty Dodge Neon in a parking lot.
On 97th?
I fucking backed the hell on goddamn 97. So I backed the hell out of there.
Yeah.
I got out of there and I hid in the cart corral because I thought this dude's gonna be pissed we took his mirrors. It's a barrier. It won't do anything. It'll just move, and I'll probably get crushed by that. But I'll tell you what, it's a little bit safer than getting hit by a car.
Yeah. Wow. Man, that actually reminds me. Like I had 2 of my buddies worked at Canadian Tire in high school, and one of the girls in my class, like, so Drum is like a training store, so the owners are like constantly rotating through. Basically, like you come to Drum and then you move on to a bigger store.
Yeah.
So one of the girls in my class,
Then you get the fuck out of Drum.
yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, I have yet to get to that point yet. So one of the girls in my class,
I believe in you.
her parents were the current owners of the Canadian Tire, and my buddies were telling me about on like Boxing Day or something. There was this like older Hutterite lady, and she was walking, but she was like looked like she was like having like a real tough time walking. So the guy that was the owner of the store at the time went up to her, and he was just like, "Ma'am, do you need a hand? Are you okay? Do you want me to get you a chair?" Like, and she was just like, and she was like holding like her gut. And she's like, "No, that's okay." And a fucking TV fell out of her fucking dress. And it was just like, wow.
Can't trust those goddamn Hutterites.
He wasn't even going because he thought she looked suspicious. He was just being nice because it looked like this woman was in pain. And no, she was trying to fucking rob a TV in her dress.
You could have got the employee to help
Listen,
her steal
man.
the TV, though.
It's fucking nuts.
Oh, listen, that's what you get for being a good
Speaking of
person. That's why you gotta be a pedantic piece of shit all the time.
Yeah, fuck. It's like, wow. My buddy's like, yeah, man, they did some stupid shit when they worked there too.
Oh.
Like, there's videos of them like rolling tires downstairs and like fucking throwing shit at shelves. One buddy took a fucking screwdriver to the eye. Like it was it was just a bad fucking time for like everybody.
A screwdriver.
Canadian-
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Yeah, I don't know like if you guys had any of this.
Good man. He'd
but-
never stoop to a low point.
No, never. If you guys have this in your town or not, like Seth, I guess I should speak to because we've already established that Jared's not real small town, but for us the biggest thing was like on like Friday and Saturday nights, everybody would get in their car and then do loser laps around town, and we'd all end up in the Canadian Tire parking lot, and we would just sit there and booze it up until we got kicked out by the cops, and the cops would come. Yeah. And generally, they would just make you dump out the beer you had and then send you on your merry way. They wouldn't make you dump out your entire case. They just send you on your way. And then I like left, or I started hearing like in like cities and shit, like if you're caught with open liquor, like you get tickets. They make you dump out your whole case. And, we're just sitting there the whole time for like, between 5 and 6 hours generally on a Friday or Saturday night, playing baseball and football in a parking lot, drinking at like 16 and 15 years old. And the cops never did anything about it. And it's just like, I don't know, it's such a big difference between the way that shit goes down in small towns, especially when it comes to a lot of interactions with law enforcement.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like when I was like, haha, cocaine. No, Lac La Biche definitely does have a drug problem. Like there's no doubt about it.
So does Drum. Yeah, so does Drum, 100%.
So, I mean, like, the cops are more used to, like, fucking getting calls with, like, cracked out people. So if they catch, like, a 16-year-old having a drink or whatever, they'll just be like, I could give a fuck. Yeah. Just go home.
Dump it out and get out of here sort of deal.
Yeah, I think, like, the best example of that is I got caught doing 60 over the speed limit, just cruising home.
Yeah.
And the cop flipped on his lights, like coming my way. I slowed down. I rolled down my window. And I was like, "Do you want me to pull over at the next approach?" And he's like, "No, just tap her cool."
Yeah.
Fucked off.
Yeah. Yeah. I've done that
Jesus
too. Like
Christ.
Coming down on Highway 9 and you're doing like $120, $125, and there'll be a cop sitting in the approach. And you like drive past them and they flick the lights on. You're like, fuck, this is it. Like I'm getting pulled over. And then they turn them off. It's just like, fucking slow down, keep going,
Yeah, unless you're like smoking crack in the front seat of your vehicle, you probably won't get pulled over.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, definitely crack is a big problem. There's this lady, she lives down the street from me, or at least used to. I don't know where she lives anymore. But she is like a bona fide fucking cracky. And my buddy
Cracky.
Brad, who's been on the
Love cracky.
podcast before, before he moved, he literally just lived like kitty corner to my house. And at like 2:00 one morning, his security lights came on, so he like went outside to look, and this fucking cracky was dancing down the road, like the middle of the road, in a fucking unicorn onesie, just fucking vibing to the music inside her head, like just going off.
Listen,
this-
the voices do be vibing.
Man, and this like the same lady, like as soon as he said like vibe, like just like going hard, dancing and tweaking out, I was like, oh, I know who that is. Because one day she was like walking across the main highway, and I was driving in my old Chevy, and I had like some old, I don't know what had playing, it doesn't matter, but just on like a Bluetooth speaker in my seat, like behind my seat. And like halfway across the fucking main highway that runs through town, she stopped in the middle of the road and was just going ham dancing. And I was like, yeah, it's the fucking crack lady. Like, man, everybody knows her. There are crackheads in Drum that are barred from the bottle depot because everybody knows that they just go around and steal the bottles and then sell them. So they cannot sell bottles at the bottle depot.
Well, does like drunk, like, do you know them by name? Like, do you have a certain set of crackheads or drunks that like you know by name, and they're just like town heroes at this point, like they're folklore, like they're part of the town?
I don't know if I'd say town heroes, but like we know like 90% of them off like by name, and then some of them you don't know by name, but like as soon as you start to give a vague description, everybody's like, oh yeah, the guy that pisses on the wall at the Waldorf, like. Or you got the guy that fucking walks around with a big gulp, or you got the guy that fucking picks butts outside Yavis. Like there's a ton of them, and some of them nobody knows who the fuck they are or where they come from. But everybody knows, like as soon as you like drop like a very vague description, they're like, oh, that one. Like we got one guy and he peed on one of the ladies I work with tires one time, and we just call him NASCAR Jacket because he just wears a red NASCAR jacket. He has a big fucking beard, big fucking gray afro, and like a fucking cane. Like,
Oh,
yeah, it's wild.
So that's what happened to Steve McQueen.
Yeah, no, Lac La Biche there's like 3.
Yeah.
One, I won't say like their full names or anything. One guy, his name's David, but he is locally known as Dog Shit. I don't know how he got this name. He has literally been called Dog Shit since the day I was born and long before that.
Yeah.
And apparently he's hung like a horse because someone caught him pissing against their wall, like behind their shop downtown, and they're like, "Holy fuck, he's packing!"
Yeah,
and decided to share it with the town, so now everyone knows that Dog Shit has a massive wang.
So is that like a town bet? Like someone's like, "Hey, like if you can just get absolutely fucking railed by Dog Shit, like I'll give you $1,000." Like, does that happen?
No, that's the thing. There's a rumor going around that all these chicks were getting nailed by Dog Shit when their husbands would go up to camp and shit.
Okay.
And I don't know if any of them were true, but that was definitely a rumor that went around for a while. So I mean, maybe got some dirty dick in there. I don't know.
Wow, big dick Dog Shit.
Then there's one guy named Brahim.
Some dirty dog dick.
He rides his pedal bike around town and sleeps in bushes.
Yep.
Then we also have Kenny, who walks around and fist fights the air and like falls over.
Yeah.
He's walking around, we're like, "Oh, there's Kenny," and
he's just like fucking just going ham, like.
Yeah, and then like he falls over like he just got hit and shit.
Yeah.
And I watched him try to pay for a single beer in a liquor store that he took out of a 6-pack.
The fucking mood.
With like a $5 bill and some change.
Man, he's halfway to a fucking 6-pack. Like, go pick some more quarters. Jesus Christ. Okay, so actually, speaking of Kenny there fighting the air, this actually kind of leads me into my next question. It's a very vague line between the two, but I think it's enough of a segue that we can use it. Have you guys had any sort of paranormal experiences? Like, do you believe in ghosts?
What's that have to do with bums fighting the air?
Oh, I
mean,
mean, maybe
Fighting the
Kenny is
ghosts in the
fighting
air?
some ghosts or some shit. He's walking down the street and he just
Okay.
like fucking.
He's fighting the
fuck.
demons in his head.
Oof,
Yeah, he had
that's
to
a little
beat
deep
him
there,
out.
buddy.
No, that's probably true.
Yep.
Oh,
That was well brought up. Too bad you fucking weren't.
I haven't heard that for the millionth time.
God damn it, Cody.
So, do you guys have any sort of paranormal experiences, and or do you believe in ghosts?
Jared, you go first.
Okay, yeah, because Seth has some super heavy hitter stories from his youth and just from
Okay,
people we
okay.
know growing
Okay.
up around Lacklebish. But for me personally, I know the guys who've had it. I've never personally had a paranormal experience.
Okay.
Like you get the odd feeling if you're walking through the woods, something's watching you. But I think that's just because it's human
That's just-
instinct, right?
That's just
You're in a
that's just
fucking
Sam
dark
Squanch.
forest. That's just a Sam Squamp just watching
Yeah,
ass and
that's
thinking,
all it is.
"Yeah,
It's
boy,
not
I'm
a
gonna get
ghost.
that."
He just wants to Rafiki
No, it's
wants to
just a Sam
clap some
Squanch.
cheeks. He wants to clap some cheeks.
Bring me those
Exactly.
cheeks.
He wants it right.
But
in the
no, in
cornhole.
terms of belief, I think there's definitely places on this planet that have spiritual significance.
Yeah.
And that there may be a presence there. I don't know. There's no quantifiable evidence, really, so to speak. But if you look at places like Skinwalker Ranch down in the States,
Yeah.
and some of the shit that goes on there, it's hard to look at that and go, yeah, it's just someone fucking somebody. It's hard to say that.
It's the
with the
wind.
evidence
It's the
that's in
wind.
there.
It's just the wind. That's all it is, right?
And I'll tell you what it is. It's the fucking Wendigo. It's a fucking
Hey,
real
don't,
demon.
Don't say that.
Okay,
Don't conjure its name.
So
It's
now
like
that
Beetlejuice.
now
Can't
that
say
we
it 3 times
have if
You
you
all right,
dig
Cody?
if you dig a 6 foot deep hole, how deep is it?
No,
no,
I'm about
About
to say 12 feet.
I'll carry it. Now that we have Jared there, Seth, because I'm assuming that he is leading to you. So should we go into you then?
So I mean, like I didn't really have any that were like directly at me, but one of my close friends growing up, yeah, their house was haunted as shit.
Okay.
Like stuff would flip on by itself all the time. Things would just like fall over. And I remember being a kid and being in like like one of the rooms with them, and like we were really young. We were probably like 3 or 4, like 5, 6, somewhere's in there, like pretty young. And I remember like fucking stereo turning on by itself, and neither of us thought of anything. But then his mom ran in and was like, "Did that just turn on?" And we're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, like maybe let's go play somewhere else."
Oh, yeah.
And then finally, I think like his mom got like pushed or something. I don't know. And then they actually had to like move out. They like sold the house and like started going to church and shit. So I mean, like I believe something happened there.
Yeah.
Like, something was definitely going on.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with what Jared said. Like, I don't believe like the people are like, oh, my house that was built in 2017 is haunted because it's built on some sort of Indian burial ground. It's like, no, you're fucking touched and you just want some sort of goddamn like attention. Like you were a fucking attention whore. Like there's a difference between like being haunted and wanting someone to take notice of you. And I think that's a lot of times where these actual legitimate like residuals type hauntings actually get lost in, is because people just are like trying to claim their claim to fame, right?
Yeah.
But no, I remember working like at the theater in Drum, and like the fucking place is old as shit. Like the one that is up now was built in 52. And
Damn.
before that, there was one in
Jesus.
the exact same spot, and it burned down and killed a firefighter. So like when the wall fell, and like I remember working there, and like there were so many experiences I had where I was just like, man, this is too much of a coincidence, you know? Like there's sometimes where, you know, okay, well, a light, you know, turns off. It's like, okay, well, a lot of like a light can turn off. Like that's one thing, but when a light shuts off and then a door slams, like not even a millisecond later, and they're right beside each other, like there tends to be some level of this is less than just faulty something and more of something else happening. So I remember I was working. I was downstairs. That's where we had to go clean like all the parts of the popcorn machine and shit at the end of the night. So I was downstairs. The bathrooms are downstairs. So that was like, it's basically like you come down the stairs, and then the men's washroom's here, and you walk around, and the women's washroom's here, and then at the end of the hall is where the old film room was, and that's where we did all the cleaning. And I had my headphones in, and I'm fucking just cleaning away, and you get that like there's someone here, like someone is watching me. So like, I remember I took off my headphones, I like turned around, and there was nothing. I was like, okay, whatever. I put my headphone back in, and it's just still there. So like, I took my headphones out, and I'm like, hello, and nothing happened. I'm like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. Like, I'm scaring myself. That's all I'm doing at this point, is just I'm freaking myself out. So I put my headphones back in. I started cleaning again. And all of a sudden, like, I got that feeling. So I turned around, the fucking lights turned off, the door slammed. So I fucking like bolted out of there, run in the hall, and I'm like screaming at like whoever did that, right? No one. And it's a big fucking hollow building. Like the whole interior is just empty. And it's granite floors with granite stairs. Like you would hear someone running, and there was nothing. And I was like, this is it. This fucking place is haunted. And like, I had so many more experiences too when I was managing the place. I mean, chairs getting fucking knocked down and stuff like that. And so I definitely think, like, I agree with what Jared had to say. If a place merits some level of paranormal activity, I definitely think that is possible, but I don't think a lot of these claims are true. If that makes any level of sense.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like the better question is UFOs. Aliens.
Dude, that was the fucking next question I was gonna bring up after this next one I was gonna do. But before we do the UFOs, I want to stick on the ghost topic for one more thing, and that was: do you think parents or grandparents should continue or stop buying their children and or grandchildren antique porcelain dolls? Are the hauntings and possessions worth it, or should they continue doing it because it makes for good television?
I don't know, or that many people still, like, I've never actually personally seen in real life a porcelain doll.
Maybe not like just porcelain, but like porcelain or Raggedy Ann.
Cody, how many porcelain dolls were you given as a child?
Well, there's one in the room there's one in the room right outside this. Like, there's one in my fucking basement right outside of my my computer room here, and I'll like be watching TV, and it's just the creepiest fucking thing. It was my grandma's, so it's just kind of stuck around. But man, like, I
know you love Gmail.
Guess what? You should burn that bitch.
It's not mine. It's my mom's. Like, I have no say.
Well, that doesn't matter. Your personal safety takes priority here, my friend. You
know what? If I got possessed, I'd be okay with it. Like, that'd be fucking awesome. Like, could you imagine just like, we just be sitting there, and all of a sudden, like, my head just starts fucking like.
That is a hot take.
Yeah, no, I would not be a fan. I would pass.
So you haven't answered my question. Is that a yay or nay to continue buying antique dolls for your children and or grandchildren?
Yeah, don't do it, because this isn't the 30s.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no, get them like...
Get your kids some fucking Hot Wheels.
Yeah,
good point.
Hot Wheels, or like a Barbie doll that definitely won't get haunted because it's a fucking Barbie doll. Oh, could you imagine, like, instead of like Annabelle being like a creepy ass doll, it's a fucking like
Malibu Barbie?
Yeah, it's like a it's like a Hello.
It's fucking Malibu Barbie and Ken, and they're just like fucking chasing after you, but their arms don't move, so they're just like this, like just chasing after you.
Well, there was that movie that came out. It was a terrible movie, and by that I mean I love it. In the early 2000s, I think it was called Toy Soldiers, and that's the concept.
Oh, I do remember Toy Soldiers. Yeah.
Instead of possession, what it was, and this is the dumbest plot on the planet, it was a military AI chip that somehow accidentally got implanted into these toys.
So
where there's an alien race that are all hideous monsters, and then the good G.I. Joe style commandos.
Well, my question becomes with that movie is where did this military chip come into contact with a fucking toy factory? Like, why were they even remotely near each other in the first place?
It's just a slip up, okay? It was a slip up. It was an accident.
Minor details. Minor details.
It's a minor detail. You don't need to worry about it.
Okay.
No, but my bigger question is, all right, let's just think about this purely from an engineering standpoint,
Okay.
right? So you
None of us
say,
are qualified
even
to
if you
think
put-
of anything from an engineering standpoint. But okay.
God, listen. We got to get our buddy Brayley in here. He's a real engineer.
Okay,
Other than
yeah.
that, we're not
Tell him
qualified
to bring
speak on it.
tequila.
But I'm a listen.
You will.
Oh God, no. He will. You don't even mention it. He'll bring it anyways.
I know he will,
But
man.
think about it just from that engineering standpoint. All right. Again, unqualified. But let's think about it for a second. Are those toys big enough to house motors that can move all their limbs? I know this is a fucking kids movie and this is some bullshit AI fucking microchip, but like, let's think about it.
Yeah, you know what?
In the
Fuck, that's a
early
really
2000s,
good
did we have
question
fucking
because, like,
servos small enough to fit
Yeah.
into the soldiers to make them run around.
yeah,
What kind of expensive ass toy were those? Are you sure that
Like,
that what here's the theory. Was this a military plot? Were we
Yeah.
making tiny toy soldiers to fight in Iraq? Is that
Yeah,
what they were doing?
that's
George
exactly what
Bush? I
happened.
got you. I fucking see you.
so
I
wait, how
see you,
big
George
were they?
Bush.
Because I mean,
You
like
fuck.
those would have to be like you're right, like 100%. Like those would have to be like a lot of really tiny, really intricate parts being put in. But would they have been put in if the AI chips were not put in? Because if not, then someone somewhere down the line made a really huge fuck up.
Exactly.
Like
That's my point. Why were the motors there in the first place?
Yeah, no,
This is a
this
conspiracy
was
now.
definitely
I
Bush.
didn't
Like,
think about this before.
like so this is exact this. I'll
This
tell you
is
what
the Bush
happened, Jared.
administration
I'll tell you what happened,
fighting
Jared. Are you
Saddam
ready?
Hussein.
Are you ready? Okay. So George W. Bush is
I'm
sitting
ready.
there, and he's like, "Look, we need a reason to invade Iraq." And someone's like, "Well, how about we take down the Twin Towers?" And he's like, "Okay, I got an idea. We're gonna send a fucking shipment
It was an inside job. They were inside the tower.
We're gonna send a group of toy soldiers in, and this is gonna give us a reason to fucking invade Iraq." And then the fucking shipment comes, and Bush walks out, and he's like, "This is just a fucking toy. Like, where are the fucking motors? Send the planes. Let's go. Backup plan." And there we go. That's the whole. We just figured it out, boys.
There you go.
Tell my friends in the CIA to get out of that building. Tell them to clear the Pentagon. I don't want the good guys getting hurt.
So now that we're on that topic, aliens. Do you believe and have you seen them?
Yes. And yes.
Okay. Cool. I'm ready.
Yeah.
No and no. Well, actually, yes
You don't
and
believe
no.
in
I
aliens.
believe in them, but I have not seen them.
I was gonna say, how the
you're
fuck do you not
fucked if
believe
you
in
don't believe in
aliens?
aliens?
No. I misheard. Yes,
Okay.
no. I believe in aliens. Never seen one.
Okay.
Okay, so I've never actually seen an alien, obviously. Like, I've never been like, oh, I've been abducted.
Yeah. Okay. You don't wake up and your ass hurts, or you do, but that's from something else.
I do, but I don't remember those nights.
Okay. That's tequila.
That's all that matters.
But I have seen UFOs where
Okay.
it's like, yeah, that's a flying object that I cannot identify.
Yeah.
I remember like we were sitting on like is me and a few buddies. We were sitting on like a tobogganing hill, and we were just sitting there, and we were watching this one light, and it came in and it came in, and slowly got in closer, and then it was just this huge ball of light that was just like above the bay, and then it went like over top of like the bay, and then set down in like a field that was behind us with no sound, and then just fucked off.
Really? Eh?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. Yeah. No. I've never had anything like that sort of like very like stereotypical UFO alien type sighting in the sky. I'll tell you guys two stories here. First one is I remember I was walking my dogs and I was coming down the back alley, and like it's fucking dark as shit. I mean, like behind my house is just the hills. That's all it is. So you get a perfect view of the nighttime sky because I mean there's very little light pollution. And I'm fucking looking out to the north, and there's this fucking red light, and it appeared to be flashing, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is it. I see the fucking UFOs.
There's a helicopter.
No. So
That was that was a fucking airplane with its signal lights.
but it wasn't moving. It was literally just like sitting in one spot, and it was like bloop, bloop, right? So I go home, I fucking put my dogs in the house, and I'm like, Fred, like, dude, you gotta come outside and look at this. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a UFO here. Like, I'm fucking looking at it. And he's like, you're fucking loopy, man. Like, there's no fucking UFO. And I'm like, no, I swear to God, it's fucking sitting there and it's fucking flashing. And he's like, fucking download an app on your phone that tells you like we can hold it up the night sky. And I fucking looked it up, and it was just some sort of fucking solar giant that apparently was more visible at that time of the year. And it wasn't flashing. It was just my brain being absolutely fucked. So it was not an alien. I didn't see an alien. It was just a planet. But the other time is that
Wow,
was
good story. Good story about UFOs.
yeah. The next one is I was driving through the mountains,
and how
and
they
I was
definitely exist.
I was going out to BC, and I remember so I don't know how familiar you guys are with like the Longview Highway 21 sort of between like Black Diamond and the Crow's Nest Pass.
Okay, yeah.
So I was driving through there, and it would have been 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Like it was late, and beautiful night, really clear. And I come like up, and you kind of snake up, and you get to the top, and then you kind of come open. You come into this opening, and there are no trees on either side. And I come up, and as I come up, there's this fucking light that starts over here in this side of my windshield, and it moves like that, like diagonal across. And like you guys have both seen shooting stars, obviously, right?
Yeah, I've had dreams.
Yes.
So shooting stars generally start as
In the
like
night sky.
like, you know, like a pinpoint, and then like just go like that, and they're just like a streak. There's no real body to like a shooting star. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's more just like, whew, and that's like, and it's gone. I watched this one, and you could see this fucking massive. It looked like a ball of flame. Like it looked like this was the last thing the dinosaurs saw before they got fucking wiped off the face of the earth. And it was slow, and it fucking went.
How big
all
was
the
this
way-
thing if you had to guess?
If I had to guess, well, I mean, it fucking took up a decent chunk of the fucking windshield, like looking at it. But it was obviously far away. Like I was watching it in the sky, and man, it took so long to
Yeah.
get across, and I was just like, you know what? No fucking chance that was a shooting star. That was a UFO. Like that's a fucking alien.
Well, did you see some top Israeli general came out a couple days
Oh,
ago and was
God.
like, aliens are real.
The
The
Galactic
Pentagon knows about
Force.
it. They're real.
You know what else they said was real?
What?
Little animatronic toy soldiers.
No one said that.
George Bush
Yeah, they did. And
George
George
Bush
W.
did.
had them invade Iraq. It's a true story.
100%.
That Bush-
Fucking look
listen,
it up on
Toy
Wikipedia.
Soldiers is a documentary.
It's not it's a documentary.
It's a documentary on how we invaded Iraq.
It's how the original invasion to Iraq went wrong. So like
Okay.
one more quick question, and then we're gonna move into a quick game, and then I have one more question, and then we're gonna call her.
Okay.
All right.
So the next question is what's it like playing Call of Duty with an MLG player such as myself?
Frustrating.
Oh, Cody, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah, tell the people
listen,
how good I am.
I get the most enjoyment out of watching Cody play because it makes me feel good about myself. Watching how he sucks makes me feel like a god. And then, of course, you have Daniel, our good friend, who makes us all look like fools.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Well, do you guys remember that game? We played that game the other night, and there was like like a minute left in the game, and I got my first kill.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah,
Although
dude.
we all did dog shit on that
Yeah,
round.
I was doing very good. Like, actually, you know what? I might not be
Yeah.
very good at multiplayer, but you throw me into a zombies game, there is no talent that can match.
And you'll get down 30 times.
It was 26. Okay, calm the fuck down, Jared.
Do you want me to erase that? Like, do you want me to
Play the
just
fucking
walk out
game!
Do you want this to be public? Do you want your shaming to be public?
Well, do you remember that one time we played Mario Kart and you absolutely fucking snapped your crayons because you were doing dog shit?
No, that is false.
I won every single fucking race, but here, dipshit McGee in the back, who was last all time, was just collecting shells and just picking on the cool kid. It was pick on the cool kid day, and he was just fucking having a time. And it's not my fault you suck donkey dick at it, and that the game pitied you with all those fucking shells. Okay, you got so many goddamn blue shells. You got collect them all. It's like fucking Pokemon, huh? You thought you just keep going, get them all, and just fucking shove them up my ass. No, I still won. Your dog shit, and I'll stand by it.
It's the hill to die on.
Wow, man's fucking went off.
Fucking final stand.
Um,
Well, Cody, he did ask if you wanted your shaming to be public.
I never even got a
And
chance
now
to
it is.
answer. I didn't even get a chance to answer if I wanted to be public or not. I just fucking went off. Okay, so we're gonna hop into a little game here, guys. Can you guys see this?
Oh God.
No, you didn't with the fucking sea shanties.
So this is a little game we're gonna call Sea Shanty or craft beer. So I'm gonna give you the name of either a sea shanty or a craft beer.
Okay.
You have to tell me if it is a sea shanty or a craft beer, and then that's the whole point of the game. Okay.
Okay. I'm down. Let's play.
Okay. So.
All right, let's go.
Sorry, I had to make like a whole bunch of white slides because I didn't know how this was going to work. So the first one that we have is called Drop of Nelson's Blood. Is that
That's
a sea shanty or a craft beer?
That's 100% a sea shanty.
That's a sea shanty.
Okay, so
I'm going sea shanty.
you guys are both correct. Drop of Nelson's Blood is another name for Nelson's Blood is another name for rum. This song here, it's a staple of the folk music community and sometimes called Roll the Old Chariot Along due to its rousing chorus.
Wow, that's amazing.
Rousing. God.
Yeah, I can't remember how it goes, but it was probably something rousing. Yeah, so
As that description would suggest.
yeah, very rousing. It's got a rousing chorus. On to the
Arousing or arousing?
yes. On to the next
Okay.
one here.
Both. All of the above.
Hello? Oh no! Fuck! Oh.
It's a beer. I'm calling it.
So I'm guessing this one's a beer. If I had to guess.
Yeah, that one's a beer. I don't know what's going on here, boys.
I love this game.
Sorry, hold on. I'm trying to figure this shit out. Something's went wrong. Hold on. I gotta try this again. Next we got Kilt Lifter.
Ooh, that's a hard one. I'm
beer.
going to say
Craft
craft
beer.
beer.
Craft beer. Okay, yeah, you guys got that one right. It's it's a craft beer from Four Peaks. It's a Scottish style ale. And the logo here is a kilt with a Dreamcatcher on it. So
Nice.
yeah. The next one we got
Lovely.
Sally Brown.
We're catching all those
That's a
sea
sea
shanty.
shanty.
Okay, yeah. So that one's a shanty. It's an old song. The earliest
This
version.
is not a game. This is you explaining different craft beers and sea shanties. Your
The
two
earliest
favorite
version of which was recorded in 1858, and some actually debate as to whether or not it is actually a shanty. But Google said so, so we're gonna call it a shanty. I mean,
things. Okay.
they said it could just be more folk music, but it was listed in the top sea shanties.
I like how sea shanties are so popular.
Cody, listen,
they
I know
don't
you're all
know
about that sea
one
shanty
for
life.
No, fuck.
For
Everything
Cody.
is a little bit delayed. So we got a Leafer Madness. That one's definitely a craft beer.
Oh no, I thought it was a shanty. Oh no.
We got the Great Big Kentucky Sausage Fest.
That's a beer.
shanty.
Wait,
I'm
what do
going
we got?
shanty.
There's one shanty and Seth's going.
I'm going shanty.
I'm a beer.
Okay. Seth's actually right on this one. It's a beer.
Damn.
Look at that fucking
you know
logo.
How I knew that? You know how I knew that?
Why?
Kentucky's nowhere near the goddamn sea.
Hey, good point. But I got
You know
Jared
what?
on it.
That's fair. Using facts and logic. You got me.
I think that man, we missed a whole bunch. They were supposed to save and they never did. Okay, well, this is very upsetting. Look, this like I said, this worked so much better. I got a couple more here. I have them written down.
Okay.
Okay, what about Randy Dandy O?
That's a shanty.
Randy Dandio. No, that's a beer.
No, that's a shanty.
Called
God damn it.
fucking 100%.
It's
just trying-
a
I'm trying to go
traditional
opposite of Seth to make this interesting.
it's a traditional style shanty that dates back to the late 18th century and one of the earliest of its kind. Reportedly influenced a number of others. That's all I got on that one. Captain John Robinson dates the earliest version back in its current form to Canada in 1917 under the title Galloping Randy Dandy O. And
Wow.
that was all I had, and the whole technology working a little bit slower than everything else kind of fucking ruined the whole point of the game. But just on that note,
Cody, I'm going to hold you to that. And now we have it chronologed in a podcast. It's here. It's written down in oral history.
I'm
So
just
I'm
gonna
gonna hold
bleep.
you to
I'm just
that.
gonna bleep the whole thing out so nobody can hear what I say.
Well, shit.
But then people might just think you're saying something extremely racist.
I mean, this is, the
I mean-
time of the woke culture. It's coming for you, Cody.
Woke culture, like Chief Stay Woke.
Hey now,
Yes.
don't do my name like that.
Okay, so now before we go, as some of you who have watched and listened to the podcasts in the past might know, Jared is here, and Jared was not on the previous one with Seth. It was Dan. Dan couldn't be here with us tonight. He's got big, huge things going on in his life. So before we go, I just want to give a little rah-rah for Dan. He's actually moving forth on his hunt to become the first orca whale to overthrow the SeaWorld government. We are truly witnessing history here and wish Dan all the best once again in reuniting with Terry and Larry and breaking up the totalitarian regime of corporate America. Tune in to the next episode with the boys where we will talk to Dan and find out just how the overtaking of SeaWorld went. Before we go, I would like to say thank you to Jared and thank you to Seth for coming along and just bullshitting. And one more time before we go, tune in next time and we'll talk to Dan about what it's like being a tiny-dicked orca. Anything else you guys want to say before we go?
Nope, that's about all.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Monotony, but
That's
mostly
all.
madness. Why are you
In
gonna
your
go?
goddamn sleep.
Why?
Why?
You know it was fucking Meeper. It
Because
wasn't
it's fucking
like,
Beaker.
No, it's Meeper, you fucking
it's
clown.
Meeper, you tard.
How fucking touched are you, Jared?
Fucking hell, I'm looking this up now, you cunts. You group of cunts.
It's Meeper.
Why are you so
It's
fucking
Bunsen
angry?
fucking Honeydew. It's Bunsen Honeydew
And Meeper.
and Beaker.
Meeper.
God
Meeper.
damn you.
It's Meeper.
You
I
fucks.
don't know, man.
No, it's Meeper. I don't know why you're having such a problem with this.
It's just liquid shit that just comes out like a fire hydrant. I don't know what else you'd call it, but yeah, a milkshake. Why not?
Just a milkshake. You gotta shake up those udders. Just fucking get them all shaked, and then you just fucking. And it's a good time.
So, cows don't get frosty piles, then is what you're trying to say.
No, they get.
No, I'm
They-
trying to say they'll shit like a river.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good one.
Oh. Oh.
Solid push.
That one like bubbled in the back of my throat. Man, this worked so well on a dry run when there was no one else in the Zoom call.
I'm shocked to even hear that you beta tested any of this.
I did. I
Like,
definitely
thought
did.
this was going to be a fly by the seat of the pants podcast.
No, man, I got
was
fucking
surprised.
I got questions and shit everywhere. Okay. Get
Oh yeah,
out-
the questions I believed in, but
get over here.
I didn't expect a proper sea shanty game.
Okay, well, definitely always in for a sea shanty game. Okay, so we got Barrique Okarma. Is that a craft beer or a sea shanty?
Craft beer.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say craft beer.
Well, okay, you guys are right on that one.